From what I'm hearing, there's still a pretty sizable gap in how they see the wide receiver market. Washington's down here. Terry McLaurin's pretty high up here. I'm told the players dug in, remains frustrated. Not a lot of traction on a trade right now, even though I do know there are some teams that are interested or have at least called. But right now, I'm told Washington does remain optimistic in this. Despite some of the smoke around all the issues and him still out of practice, they feel like when push comes to shove, closer to week one, they can reach some sort of compromise. It's probably not going to be a situation where he plays out the year in his contract and plays the franchise tag next year. Like, he needs some sort of contract. They're hoping they can find a sweet spot here, but they're sort of waiting each other out. And meanwhile, this could get ugly.
All right, first good update we've gotten in a little while here on Terry McLaurin as Jeremy Fowler shares the latest. All these updates have been from Jeremy Fowler, but we are here to break the latest update down. I'm going to take this as a positive update because we're going to break it down. We're going to talk about why I think it's a positive update, but make sure you guys hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. On the road to 2,000 subscribers. We are about 100 subscribers away, so go ahead and subscribe, hit that notification bell as well. So let's read what Jeremy Fowler has to say on the Terry McLaurin situation. He says, Washington is down here. Terry McLaurin is pretty high up here. I'm told the players dug in. He remains frustrated. Washington feels like when push comes to shove, closer to week one, they can reach some sort of compromise. Now, the reason I take this as a very positive update is because, yes, at the end, Jeremy Fowler said this could get ugly, but he said multiple times that there's going to be an extension done, and he doesn't see this as a situation where there's no extension done. He said it could get ugly if there is no extension done, but he doesn't see it as a situation where an extension doesn't get done. He said there will be some sort of contract. So I think that's positive. And listen, James Cook got his extension from the Bills the other day, and he had been coming to team activities and team meetings. Now we're hearing Terry McLaurin is coming to team meetings, coming to team activities, and not practicing, but he's been around the building more. And even Linnell Willingham said he's heard that Terry McLaurin and Jaden Daniels have been thrown in the bubble every day after practice. So who knows? But this is a positive update. I know he said it could get ugly at the end, but he said that he feels like when push comes to shove that there will be a deal done. He said the Commanders feel like when push comes to shove, there will be a deal done. Now, Adam Peters is a guy that is known for this type of activity. I mean, not to really compare Sam Cosmi, but Sam Cosmi last year, September 4th, like 1 week before the season, he gets his extension. Trent Williams with the 49ers, he's done it with countless players all over. Adam Peters is a guy that gets things done in crunch time. And this is all longer than we want it to take, but this is still has a shot to get done. And this, to me, is the first good news that we've gotten in a little while. So, Jeremy Fowler continues to say they're not trading Terry McLaurin. There's no intent to trade Terry McLaurin. He continues to say they have had calls about Terry McLaurin. I believe the two teams that have called are the Steelers and the Patriots. I know for sure the Steelers have called, but I would think the Patriots too. Because Lake Lewis Jr. said when we were at a joint practice out there, when Lake Lewis was out there at a joint practice, he said, someone told him from there, Patriots have called. We've heard from the Steelers, they have called. So, teams are going to pursue Terry McLaurin. They want to, but nobody's going to pay him over $30 million. I don't think so. I mean, the Patriots tried to pay Chris Godwin over $30 million, and offer him, but he's stuck with the Buccaneers, and so they might pay Terry McLaurin that. But is that a better situation for Terry McLaurin? No. But this thing could get ugly, and I kind of envision, I think Terry McLaurin's going to come back to work soon, because at some point you have to continue to look at the chemistry, and you have to show up to work. You're under contract. Terry McLaurin has no leverage in this situation. The Commanders have all the leverage. All of it. And so he has to show up to work because he's under his current contract. Why would the Commanders pay Terry McLaurin more than $28 million when they could just leave him under his current contract? And I know that wouldn't be what anybody wants, but they could leave him under his current contract, pay him $18 million this year, and then next year you franchise tag him and you pay him $28 million because the franchise tag is $28 million. So why would they pay him over $28 million if they can pay him $28 million next year and just franchise tag him? So they're not going to pay him $30 million. And they're a heavily statistic-based group. So the statistics say when you get into your 30s, you slow down. You start to get injuries. And while I don't think that's true about Terry McLaurin, because first off, he has 7 years, that's it, and he has barely any injuries, I don't think that's true. They're going to roll with it. And they haven't seen the other 4 years of Terry McLaurin. 5 years, 6 years. I think he's gone into year 7 this year. So maybe 8. But I'm taking this as a positive update. Jeremy Fowler continues to say the Commanders are not trading him. We know that. We don't have to worry about that. But we're slowly starting to hear more and more about Terry McLaurin in this situation. Cliff Kingsbury this morning, if you're watching this on Friday night, August 15th, he said, dude, we need Terry McLaurin to kind of see what the offense has. And I think they should try to get an extension done by Monday Night Football when we play the Bengals, because this is the one preseason game Dan Quinn said that the starters are starting. So why not? Wouldn't you want to get the chemistry back together on a terrible Bengals defense on Monday Night Football at home? Why wouldn't you want 1-7 out there under a new contract? Let's get it done before then. But either way, you have 3 weeks to get it done, so they could do that. They could wait even longer. But at the end of the day, I love that Jeremy Fowler says the Commanders feel like when push comes to shove, they will get something done. I think they will. They have to, dude. There's no way they don't get anything done. This is your number one guy. It was such peaches and roses last year. It's so weird what we're going through right now with this situation. But I think Terry McLaurin needs to show up to work. I do. Listen, I understand you're trying to get your last big bag, but at some point you have to show up to work, and you got to say, okay, I'm under contract. And for those of you saying Terry McLaurin may hold out the season, not play in the games, is that a smart decision? No. I'd rather just go get $28 million next year. I'd rather do that if I'm him, because if you're going to sit out this season, then in free agency of next year, when the Commanders don't want to re-sign you, what are you going to do? Nobody's going to want you because you sat out last year. You're not going to be valued. And then you're going to end up not even getting close to $30 million. Not even close to it. Which is what you wanted, and that's why you held out from the start. So, do not hold out this year. And that's the problem for Terry McLaurin. He's going to get fined a lot of money if he holds out. And so, he has to show up to work. The Commanders have all the leverage in the situation. Don't listen to anybody that doesn't say that. We all have emotional strings from Terry McLaurin tied to our heart. He's my favorite Commander of all time. I've said that plenty of times, but he has to show up to work. He has a job to do. And it's disappointing that they decided not to pay him yet, but it is what it is. Personally, do I think he's a $30 million wide receiver? I do. But why would Adam Peters be the first guy to set a precedent and say, okay, well, this guy's over 30, and we're going to pay him over $30 million. Why would they set a precedent for that for the rest of the league? Because then the rest of the league's going to sit there and say, well, Terry McLaurin got over $30 million when he's 30. So Adam Peters doesn't want to set that precedent. He's not going to want to do that. And it's age related, I'm sure. Two sides are being really stubborn. They're still far apart, but if they can just come in by 3 weeks and show up and get a deal done. Terry McLaurin's starting to show up to more and more. He wants to be with his teammates more and more. He's getting that itch more and more. He's in shape more and more. And I feel like something is bound to happen, or he starts showing up to work. And once James Cook started to show up to work last week, or I think it was this week, they got the extension done. He got a contract. So he's good. We'll be fine. I think Terry McLaurin will get paid. Certainly this has really changed my perspective on Adam Peters. Not every contract is going to be great, and that's what is expected. This has helped us learn a lot about contract and what takes place. Because next up you have Laramie Tunsil, and I can tell you Laramie Tunsil is probably not going to get his extension until September next year. So I would be worried if I'm him, because Adam Peters is a stubborn guy. He doesn't budge. And So they're still working things out, but, get this done by Monday night. We need to see Terry McLaurin. And would Terry McLaurin even be able to play? I don't know. Listen, I'm not saying the ankle injury is a problem. The ankle injury for Terry McLaurin, there's no ankle injury. Once he gets the extension done, he's taken off the PUP list. But would they play him? I don't know. All I can say is this is starting to affect practice. And it doesn't help that Noah Brown is out. Doesn't help that we can't rely on him with injuries. So he's the only guy to stretch the field if there's no Noah Brown. If there's no both of them, then who else can do that? So we're really struggling right now without Terry. But pay him the money if you're really in desperate need of him. Pay him the money then. So I love Terry McLaurin. I like Adam Peters. But I'm not thrilled with either of them in this situation. And I just want this to get better. But continue to listen to Jeremy Fowler. He's the guy that gives all these updates. So he basically, just says they're not gonna trade him. They're not really even accepting offers. He said, this could get done close to the season. When push comes to shove, this might get done. He also said this could get ugly if they don't get anything done. He's also stated numerous times that he believes there's no way a contract couldn't get done. He's also stated that the Commanders have considered just keeping him under his current contract and franchise tagging him next year. But who wouldn't consider that? So that's all I got for right now. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. Sorry for the late video. That's going to do it for me. This will be probably my Saturday video, I guess. So sorry for the late video, but that's all I got for right now. Hail to the Washington Commanders. As always, I'm out. Have a good Friday night.